What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Simple Minds, and more from Real Cacophony, 1979. The next track is Carnival, or Carnival, and then parenthetically, Shelter in a Suitcase. Now, Carnival here in the US, and in most contexts, it just means a festival type of event. Carnival in Brazil, for example, can mean something very specific and different. And I think the word can also refer, not just in the Brazilian context, but to a period of time where those on the bottom rungs are allowed to do as they please, and those who are typically in positions of authority or control are denied that, or are technically experiencing the other side of that equation, though again in a sort of ceremonial or representative way. So I suppose it could have a more particular meaning, but as I said, here if you say the word carnival, you're really just meaning an event where there are games or entertainments, pleasures, food or otherwise. Shelter in a suitcase is an interesting phrase. It sounds like people who are on the go, maybe a traveling carnival, and the idea of taking shelter or refuge in a suitcase, there's surely some metaphor or figurative meaning going on there, but yeah, I like the phrase, there's a bit of poetry to it, but I don't quite know what to make of the full title, Carnival, and the parenthetical Shelter in a Suitcase, so I'll just have to see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Simple Minds, the track is Carnival, or Carnival, Shelter in a Suitcase. Sheer madness. There is a jubilant carnival, almost over-the-top type of feeling to that keyboard work, as well as like maybe xylophone. There were part of the melody sounded like it was struck as much as it was played. But yes, I feel like there's also a zaniness to it, a craziness, almost like a comedy to it, because it's just so off the rails, or just bizarre. It's, sort of like a eccentric art rock type of piece. We definitely get some tasty guitar licks, and the bass was grooving the whole time. The vocals almost had this, live recording type of sound where it's a bit echoed, a bit cavernous, but seemingly done like in studio, so done for an effect in that regard. There's like one or two words here or there that I did catch, but by and large, I did not hear the vast majority of the lyrics clearly, so I don't really know what's happening. I know those two-part longer, like extended vocals, shelter, like I feel like there was that word, and I think even shelter in a suitcase, I think was said in succession. I don't know if I heard Carnival, so I'm not sure if the whole title was said in succession, but I do think the parenthetical part of it we heard in a couple different places and vocal delivery styles. But yeah, so I don't know what's happening narratively or in terms of the scene being set, but the sonics do give me a bit of a Carnival atmosphere, though in a crazy, again, off the rails, eccentric sort of way. And again, it's not the kind of tune that you'd expect to hear on the radio. It's not like, oh, it's so catchy. It's, like a tune that you're going to be humming the chorus to after you hear it on the radio. It's sort of like a, whoa, have you heard that? It's crazy, man. Like, you should listen to it because it's just wild. So, yeah, knowing, again, some of the progression that they're going to do in the years following this album, and also the one before it. Though the one before it, like, it felt, and again, I'm still pretty early in Real Cacophony, but Life in a Day felt like, again, they were sort of drawing upon some of the eccentricity and multi-genre stylings of Roxy music with more like electronic keyboard sounds than perhaps I expected. But this album feels like it's going even farther afield of what they're going to do in the next couple or next few albums after this. So it's really interesting to get this early Simple Minds exposure, because just knowing how dynamic they were as a group over just a handful of years is a really incredible thing. And I know I've said that in some of the other reactions, but you listen to a song like this where it's like, it's like maybe 2.5 minutes, maybe 3. Yeah, just about 2.5. So you hear this, it's a short tune, but it's almost like you're sort of breathless after it. Like, wow, like what was that? That was crazy. And those moments where it would really, become a bit double time and frantic at the end of the measures, and then at the end of the track, it even extended that for like one extra bar. Like, those moments are seemingly just wild and a bit comedic on purpose. So, yeah, just really leaning into their unique creative sound here in a way that, again, isn't bad by any means, but it seems like, this is not a band trying to make a hit, trying to make a track that will chart on the the Billboard top 50 or whatever it is. Like, it feels like a band that's like, we're just going to kind of do our own weird thing, and if you're along for it, cool, then you're in on the joke, and if not, then maybe look elsewhere. It feels like a band that's just, again, embracing the eccentricity. So, a wild one. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.